Welcome to the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show. Conversations with elite business leaders from around the world. And now, here is your host, T. Allen Haynes.
Welcome back to the show. We've got a great guest for you today. We've got Mr. P.J. Pahygiannis, and he is the email guy. And he started with this 2 years ago when his mentor, David Klein, who is the founder of Jelly Belly Jelly Beans, created a Kickstarter campaign to raise money to manufacture a new line of coffee jelly beans. And PJ found emails for editors and reporters at national newspapers and reached out and contacted them on his behalf. And he was able to get him in the LA Times and the Chicago Tribune. He also helped him raise almost $10,000. He also connected David with meetings with Starbucks, Dollar Tree, Target, and Dunkin' Donuts with the executive email addresses that he found for him. PJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's just get right into it. Tell us a little bit more about the email guy and how you're helping other clients.
So basically, I help businesses, big and small, from local businesses for like a window washer who wants to get more clients, more commercial clients. I found emails for him to people that want to get their products in stores on store shelves. I mean, I've helped people get products from the TJ Maxx, Macy's, all with emails. So what I really do is I spend hours online digging and researching to find these emails at any side of the company. I found emails executives at Apple to, like I said, a dry cleaner down the street. I can find the email address.
Nice. So what are you finding to be the biggest problem with people that are trying to, locate the decision maker to, notify them of the product that they have?
Most don't even try to find a decision maker. They'll just send an email to just the general company email or the info@ email on their website or the website contact form. They don't really go and take the time to try to find the email address.
So what's the biggest advantages of having that email to the decision makers for business owners?
I always say that I always email CEOs as well, but I found the result that when you email a CEO or the high-level executive in the company, that they may not always respond to your email, but usually they will forward your email to the person in charge of the person it should go to. They'll delegate it to someone else, which usually gets a result.
So I'm hearing a lot of chatter on the street that email marketing is dead. What's your take on that?
It's definitely not. I found the biggest thing that people say why it's dead is they pitch in the first email. So when you send a cold email, I don't pitch in the first email because I find a lot of people will just give like a 10-paragraph, couple 100-word pitch in the first email, and these people don't have time to read that. So my strategy is to start with a question. So I'll ask them, if it's a retailer, do you carry this certain type of product that this person is selling? So if I'm selling socks, I'll ask the retailer, what kind of socks do you carry? What kind of brand? I'll ask the executive that, or whoever I'm pitching. It works with smaller businesses mostly, but also bigger businesses. So the other day I was working with a guy that was doing selling lead generation for architects. So we wrote to them. We sent an email campaign cold. They didn't know who we were, just one sentence. What size of projects do you work on, and where do you work the most at? So then you just kind of keep the conversation going. You don't pitch all up front.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like something familiar that is like whiskers and cheese, where you kind of, if a mouse senses the whiskers, he runs away, but
absolutely,
the cheese, he comes to you. Absolutely.
Right.
What do you feel to be additional biggest myths that are out there about, emailing these decision makers?
A lot of people don't think that these executives and business owners don't read their email, but they do. No matter what email address, even like a big myth is that if you do email like an info@whatever.com, that it won't get read. And I found that a lot of these business owners, because I've worked with other business owners before, have that info@xyzcompany.com. They have all the emails that come into that inbox forwarded to their personal email, so it does get read and it does get responded to. I worked at a company a couple of years ago They made wall decals, and the owner had his info at email address forwarded to his own personal Gmail inbox to respond to.
Nice. So the most common fears, I mean, some of the people that are wanting to utilize this strategy, I mean, what is, maybe they feel like it's beyond their ability. I mean, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely. A lot of people, one, don't want to put the time in to find emails, which is where I come in. They also don't know what to say always, and that's part of it. You have to distill what you're selling, whether it's a service or a product. You can't have that really long pitch. In a couple sentences, you have to explain what you do, how you do it, and the advantages. You have to be able to condense, which I think a lot of people have trouble with, and it's a fear of them because they're worried that they won't get all the information in or stuff like that. So
is there a specific time of day to be doing this, or have you found something to be more effective?
With smaller business owners, it hasn't really mattered. I get responses 24/7 from small business owners. From executives, it's more your 9 to 5 workday.
Wow.
9 to 5.
That's a good point. So somebody wants to do this, but how do they get past these fears of maybe nobody will respond or nobody will read it? I mean, is it just a system of continually putting them out and then getting the response, or having the end result in mind, or what do you think? How they can get past these fears?
When I started, I've had businesses my whole life. I'm 22, but I've had businesses since I was 14, 15 years old, and I've been emailing since then. But when I first started, I really didn't utilize email. I think I mostly focused on social media and social media marketing, which I think is a big focus of people too. It's really trial and error. I mean, I've learned what I've learned by trial and error, by course correcting. I'll start a campaign. I start small. I'll A/B test, kind of split test, but then you just kind of keep course correcting along the way, and you'll get to that end result.
Some of the perceptions might be, this might be, it costs me too much, but how is it economically versus other marketing?
Email, well, when you find them yourself, it costs nothing to send an email. I mean, it's really a matter of time. I use a simple software. It costs $40. There's software out there that cost $20 a year. I used to use a software called Yet Another Mail Merge. It connects to a Gmail account, like a Google Sheets, and all you have to do with that is you can type in the person's name in one column and the person's email in the second column, so you can customize it and just write an email and it'll send them out. It costs $24, and you can send up to 500 emails a day.
What's that program again?
Yet Another Mail Merge.
Is that like an extension or something, a Chrome extension?
Yeah, it's a Google Sheets app. It's like a plugin.
Oh, okay. And it's only $24?
A year.
Nice.
And you can send up to 500 emails a day through that. You can do 1, you could do 500. You can do 10, stuff like that.
And does it mask your email, or does it show the Gmail account or something different? Or?
It shows the Gmail, but I found most people actually have another common misconception that people won't reply to a Gmail account, but in my experience, it hasn't mattered.
Right.
Whether it's a Gmail account or not.
Yeah, there's a big debate on online marketers about, if you're showing a Gmail account, you're really not serious about business and yada, yada, yada. But
I don't believe that. I mean, I'm working with clients right now. One customer, she's doing lead generation, and she has a Gmail account, and she got a 60% open rate and like a 45% response rate from a Gmail account to small businesses.
So that software you just described, does that track opens and show you that they opened it?
Track opens and clicks and all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Okay, cool. And that's key, right? I mean, you need to know when they opened it.
Absolutely.
Cool. So what would be some of the pitfalls with cold emailing? You
have to be sensitive in your pitch. I mean, of what you say, how you say it. You just have to be sensitive to the person's time, number one. That's the reason that a long pitch just doesn't work. People don't have time to read it, and it's very easy to delete. That's why I use my question system, because a simple one-sentence question to get that conversation going is easy to respond to. a long pitch in an email is very easy to ignore. So people can ramble in emails. It's very hard to distill what you're saying and how you're saying it in your email. So a long email, like I said, is very easy to be ignored.
Can you share with us a case study or an example of how you've effectively helped one of your clients with cold email marketing?
Absolutely. I'm working with a guy right now. His name's Joe, and he does lead generation for pool companies that build and design pools. He's had over 50 calls so far from the campaign we sent out for him. And what we did for him, this was about a month ago, we emailed these pool companies, just neighborhood local pool companies all around the country, and asked them about their business. How long have you been in business? How many clients are working with a month? They asked us just those two questions in the first email. So once we replied, we kind of wrote back and said, okay, are you open, or how much more capacity do you have? Are you open to new clients? I responded to that, and then we softly pitch with a couple of sentences and ask them on a phone call. And then once they get on a phone call, it just continues from there. The goal for my clients when I do it is to always get them on a phone call.
Right. Absolutely. So in your introduction, we had a little bit about your backstory, but give us a little bit more about, you say you've owned companies since you were 14. Give us a little bit more about your background, your story.
I'm 22. I'm a college student right now, but for years I was in the fishing industry. I love to fish. I still do. I used to fish competitively, but I had a company called PPMB Fishing. I started with a couple of friends, PJ, Patrick, Mikey, Ben, all our names for PPMB. We made fishing lures and fishing lure accessories. That was one of my first and most successful businesses in the industry, and we ran that completely off cold email and Facebook. I was the head of everything, basically. I got the company and the products for the tackle shops all around the country, built up a nice customer base online. But we made everything by hand, and that was my first and biggest business. After that, I was a writer for fishing magazines for a couple of years, national fishing magazines. I was a freelance writer.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on your accomplishment.
Thank you.
I love seeing young entrepreneurs and seeing them making an impact. So what inspired you to go and stick with the cold email marketing niche?
After I saw the success that David Klein, my mentor, had, who I still talk to today and help him with emailing, I was just that was my first really big, high-impact email campaign. And that was the first time I actually spent time, digging and finding emails. And my big experience with that is finding a big revelation with that campaign was finding that executives, big and small, do reply to emails. And I was able to get him meetings or phone calls with Starbucks executives, restaurant executives all over. And it just really surprised me how well it worked.
How is this, spam laws and things like that? Is there, I think that just applies to personal emails, right? Or
it does. The laws are different from business to business emails. They're completely different. Right. As long as you identify yourself, say who you are, what your company is, and have an option on subscribe within the law. It's different with personal, if you're just spamming people, that's different.
Yeah, I think that's a big misconception out there. People freak out about, oh my God, we can't do that legally, and well, it's a business-to-business email, so it's different. So along the way, I know you mentioned your mentor now that inspired you, but is there a book out there that's really stands out that's inspired you along the way?
Not with emailing, but Rich Dad Poor Dad was one business book that really got me started. And The Power of Growth by David John has really inspired me. But for cold emailing, I've just learned by myself there.
Describe for us what really gets you out of bed every morning and what drives you to do what you're doing to help people.
To make an impact. I just want to make an impact. It's not about the money for me. If I can impact a person's business with one email or one response, with David, my mentor, I didn't have to send out that many emails to get him in the Tribune and the LA Times, but to make that impact on someone's business, on someone's campaign, or just that drives me.
What's a lesson that you've learned early on that still impacts you on how you do your business today?
Find a need and fill it. Find a need and fill it, because it sounds really simple. But when I was younger, I started a lot of businesses that interested me, and create a product that interested me, but I was never finding a real need. That's why early businesses failed. That's one of the reasons that I got in this email business, because when I first started, I saw that need that was out there, and it's still going today. So there is a need out there for email addresses for business owners and executives, and that's what I just keep focusing on, is filling that need.
Absolutely. It's the basic business model: find a need and fill it. Absolutely.
And a lot of people, I read a book that was saying a lot of people go into business for selfish reasons because they want to create a product, they want to invent something, but there's no need out there for it.
Yeah, that's a kiss of death.
Yes.
What would be the most important question that somebody needs to ask, or a business owner that they need to ask themselves before, considering taking this path?
It goes back to the need. Am I filling a need for this business owner, for this executive, or this CEO? When you email them, you have to have a solution to a problem, a product or a service that fits in the realm of what they do. The reason I contacted with the Jelly Belly campaign or coffee jelly beans is coffee shops could serve it, cafes could serve it, restaurants could serve it. There's a need there for it. Mm-hmm. It fit into a spot. So you have to focus on the need side of your product, and that has to basically be the essential essence of your pitch, is how it fills a need. So what do you feel would be the most important thing about what you offer versus just buying a list of emails somewhere? I spend hours doing this myself. I don't outsource it really. I don't have virtual assistants in other countries like some people do. And I verify each email, so no email will bounce. The clean list. I can customize emails. I can do it by industry, niche, city, state, zip code. I mean, I found emails for things like some people, or one person, buy a list of clowns. People have a clown company. I've done that. I can do really unique niches and all that kind of stuff. Nice. How can someone find out more about you and your services, and how you can help them? My website is pjtheemailguy.com. And my email is pj@pjtheemailguy.com. And you can email me. I'll answer any questions. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. That's a lot of great nuggets for the listeners about email, cold email marketing. I really appreciate you being on the show. No problem. Thank you. You're welcome. There you have it for this edition of the show. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks for listening to the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show with T. Allen Haynes. Conversations with elite business leaders from around the world. We will see you next time on the T. Allen Haynes Radio Show.